Howdy, folks. Our next grammar lesson is about learning how to punctuate with colons. So we finally get to move on a little bit from commas for a minute and start our next punctuation mark. So as always, I do want you to take notes. Make sure you're jotting down ideas and examples as we go through these. Okay, so here's the big thing about colons. Colons are the two little dots stacked right up on top of each other. And this is what they do. They clarify information. That's it. In as many flashy ways as I can say it, colons clarify. That's how I remember this. They make information, specifically, they make sentences more clear and detailed when we add something that comes after the colon. So let's take a look at some rules. Number one rule is whatever comes before that comma or colon has to be an independent clause. Has to be an independent clause, like a full sentence. This has to be able to stand on its own. Otherwise, you're not going to use a colon. So make sure you write that down. Big, bold words, highlight it, underline it, circle it, whatever you need to do. Independent clause comes before colon. What comes after is almost anything that you want. You can make this a single word. You can make this a phrase, another clause, another full sentence, as long as it's clarifying the information that is colons clarify information that comes before that colon. So let me give you some examples here. Mr. Restad has two favorite hobbies. Well, what two hobbies are those? Well, drinking coffee and fishing. Those are the two things that I absolutely love doing, right? I'm clarifying what my hobbies are. Or there were three words that turned the kids into zombies: grammar, essays, and tests, right? Just instant zombification of your brain cells. I'm clarifying what those three words. Not Mr. Restad's two least favorite things are caffeine withdrawal and blindness, right? This doesn't work because what comes before that colon is not an independent clause. So no colon is needed here. Even though you're introducing a list, like these two sentences up here, this would not work, right? Independent clause, make sure you clarify. Let's take a look at some examples. So Rodney Mullen was the greatest skater who ever rode. No one matches his creativity and technical skill with a board. Let's break that down. So first off, we're starting off with a full sentence. Rodney Mullen was the greatest skater who ever rode. Full stop. I could put a period there if I wanted to, but since I'm getting to be a more creative and more dedicated writer, I'm going to clarify this information. Why do I think that he's the best skater that ever rode? And if you're unsure, take a look at that GIF. Guy's pretty amazing. So that's my full sentence. And then I've got this clarification afterwards because I think no one matches his creativity and his technical skill on a skateboard. And that format is repeated here. After 3 weeks, the jury reached a verdict. I could stop the sentence there, but if I wanted to clarify what that verdict was, I would say guilty, right? The single word is the clarification of what that verdict is. Or Adam has all the ingredients for a cake. Full sentence: flour, sugar, and butter. It sounds like a pretty mediocre cake, but I like flour and butter, so let's go with it. Full sentence, clarification. All right, let's press pause right here. I want you to close your notebook, and I want you to tell me what is like the one rule you need to remember when using a colon in a sentence. It's like one really important one. See if you can remember it. Got it? All right. So there must be an independent clause before the colon. That's like the most critical piece. So I want you to press pause on this video and write one sentence introducing a list with a colon. See if you can come up with one. All right. And when you've done with that, we've got some John Cena quotes. These aren't quotes, but John Cena sentences. So I want you to try to press pause and maybe jot these down into your notebook. Try to fix them. Maybe you need to add colons. Maybe you need to replace commas with colons. Maybe you need to take out colons. I don't know. We'll see how you do. All right. Pause it and get it done. I mean it. Do this practice. Here's what the answers are. The teacher's strategy was interesting. I could have stopped the sentence there, right? But if I wanted to clarify why this strategy was interesting, I'm going to add this clarification afterwards. Ask everyone in the room to be a part of the decision-making process. Cool. So Mike just loves baking, cakes, muffins, and cookies. No colon here, right? You could just say Mike just loves baking, but a clarification would not be cakes, muffins, and cookies. Those things do not work together. Cakes, muffins, and cookies are not a clarification of why he loves baking. You could say Mike loves many baked goods, cakes, muffins, and cookies, to define what those baked goods were, but cakes, muffins, and cookies do not clarify the idea of baking. So no colon would be needed there. And this last one, after hours of what Reverend Lovejoy knew, after hours of thought, Reverend Lovejoy knew what he had to do: give the fruit snacks back to his daughter. And he always got to give those back. So just a clarification of what he had to do. All right. Good luck, folks. That's the colons in a nutshell.